Remember, when people used to call each other on the phone and you actually talked to girls for 20 to 30 minutes to get to know them before you went out on a date? It is much easier to get girls out over the phone. It is much easier to convince them to meet up. It's much easier to escalate. It's much easier to build comfort. You can't really build real comfort over text because it is a shallow form of emotional communication. You can't really get to know someone over text. It is an important form of communication, but in the first interaction from the dating app, we use the text message as a mechanism to move things over to the phone. One example is a man has met a woman through the app. Quickly, he writes her that he hates this form of communication and says, "What, don't you text me here on my phone?" Voluntarily giving his number first instead of asking for hers. This gives her an avenue to move to texting or stay on the app depending on her comfort level. She always has a safe place to talk until she is ready. After a few exchanges, he asks her if she has time for a quick call. He jokingly suggests that he wants to make sure that she is real. Besides, he has a real buttery, sultry voice. Very rarely was this suggestion to move to the phone rejected. If she is not quite comfortable with moving to phone, he can use the text message to keep the interaction alive. Slowly moving the interaction to a comfortable place for a phone exchange. She is expecting us to be the driver in moving this along. The text message will then be used as a tool throughout the next few interactions, as a mechanism to getting to the phone and to the first date to find out what exactly this girl is or is not. If you call girls nowadays, they text you back and ask, "What is up?" We want to become the exception that she will answer the phone for you and not text, and is looking forward to calls with you. We do not have relationships where we literally only talk through text. Texting is the dominant form of communication. It is easy to respond to text, and to the idea of the lack of emotional intimacy, it started with Facebook. Facebook is the least amount of emotional intimacy that you have with someone when you are communicating with them. If you get a girl's Facebook, you ask a girl for her Facebook, she is going to give it to you. She is probably going to add you to the 90% of friend-zoned men. Like girls give out their Facebook to anybody. That doesn't mean anything. It does not get you any closer to her. Even with texting, this is just something to keep in mind as you go through this new journey in your life. If the girl is not texting you back for a long time, she is not that interested in you. Text tags. A lot of guys, they try to rationalize away the reason the girls are not texting them back. So even though every girl between the age of 18 and 75 constantly has their phone on them, your text and the fact that she is not responding for 6 hours, do not trick yourself into thinking that if a girl is not texting back, she is interested in you, and she's just busy. No one is that busy. It does not exist. But really, if someone is interested, they are going to respond, and they are going to respond quickly. Everyone has their phone on them. There may be some exceptions where people have really high-powered or high-stress jobs where they do not have their phone on them. Like if the girl is a court reporter or a nurse in the emergency room. If the girl's not responding back in a timely fashion, you generally do not want to pursue these women. A girl might not like you enough to pick up the phone, but she probably likes you enough to respond to a text, especially if it is funny or emotionally stimulating. Text has a fantasy effect. Text is easy to sexualize because of this fantasy world and because of the lack of actual intimacy. There is no one going to be that emotionally attached to you, and you are texting with girls you just meet. They are not going to be super emotionally attached. The biggest problem with texting is that it gives the girl all the power. There is one point in every interaction with a woman where she has 100% of the power, and it is after you have met her. When you are going to text her, if she does not want to return the text, it is real easy. For her to just delete it or ignore it literally takes a swipe of a finger. You could be texting a girl and going back and forth all day, 900 texts, then be like, "We should get some pizza on Tuesday," and you will never hear from that girl ever again. Sad but true, and it happens a lot, especially if I haven't gained any attraction from the actual dating app. Sometimes you can do all the right things that usually always work and get results, but there are always those few. One of the things to understand about beautiful women is they can be narcissistic because they need constant validation that they are hot, that they are attractive, that they are desirable. And one of the easiest ways for people to get their validation from and need that constant validation to have 5/15/20 dudes texting them all day. A few they are interested in. Most they are not, and they are just texting back with them because they are bored and because you're giving them attention and validation, which makes them feel good about themselves. We want to avoid this by becoming attractive through the app, using text as a mechanism for getting to the phone quickly, and using it after the initial interaction strategically to keep building attraction.